Hey everyone, so I am doing a Nintendo retrospective for their 125th anniversary. I'm playing my top 25 games leading up to my very first list video, my top 25 Nintendo games. It doesn't need to be Nintendo developed, but it does need to be Nintendo published. And in today's case, we have a very underrated game, I feel. Now this game does have some, mostly what of a cult following, I guess is what they call it, right? It's different. It's fun. It is published by Nintendo, developed by Silicon Knights. It is Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Do I even have a game? I do. Let's not load, however. Let's start through. If the intro is really long, I'll skip some of it.
Flesh, bone, bound together with the oddest magical incantation. This wretched book is where it all began so long ago. Before time, before humanity. I am Dr. Edward Roivas. I am a clinical psychologist. I am also dead. This is not my story, nor even the story of the Roivas family. It is the story of humanity. Like it or not, believe it or not, as you will. Your perceptions will not change reality, but simply color it. Humanity has been on the edge of extinction for 2 millennia, ignorant of so much and dependent on so few. The Guardians grow restless, their time once again near. Whether by fate or misfortune, my family has crossed their path, and they didn't take kindly to it. Their attention turns to my granddaughter, for she is the last of my line, and the last hope for humanity.
So, very, very dark intro, very different for a Nintendo game. Yes, they didn't develop the game, they did publish it. Alright, so come on, can I remember how to do it? No. Back away. I don't remember if you can die here or not. So it looks like it would be tank control-y, and it is a little bit. Oh, what the hell are you doing? Am I out of ammo? Is that what this means? So yeah, it looked a little tank control-y like a Resident Evil game, but it's actually not that bad. And as you saw, you can kind of aim at specific portions of someone's body. This game is very, very good. I really find this game extremely underrated. I played this, when I got my GameCube. I think I played this in like 2002.
Hello. Miss Alexandra Roivas?
Yeah, who's this?
This game is
This is Inspector
fun.
Grass of the Rhode Island Police. I'm sorry to disturb you, but there's been an accident with your
Yeah,
grandmother.
it is a darker story
I'll be on the
too.
next flight out.
The Rivas family estate, Rhode Island. The graphics aren't the greatest. The voice acting is actually pretty decent. I would sadly
Miss
say that
Roivas.
this is Silicon
I'm
Knights
pleased to meet
at
you. I trust
their
you had a pleasant
height.
Trip?
Yes, I suppose so, considering.
Yes, my condolences. This is most unpleasant. It's a shame we couldn't meet under brighter circumstances.
Yes, it is. Can we get this over with, please?
Of course, this way. But I must warn you, it's not a pleasant sight. I'm afraid there's not much to see.
Yeah, disgusting.
Miss Roivas, is that your grandfather, Edward?
Yes, it's him. He's wearing our family ring. I don't understand. Why are you showing me this? Can't you check dental records or something? What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry. It's my job, lady. You're the only living relative, and no, we can't check dental records. There's no head. No, none of this makes sense. There's no sign of intrusion, and there was certainly a lot of force used here. I have never seen anything like this in my 20 years on the force. We have no evidence except for the body, and what's left doesn't say much. Ugh, we don't have a single clue.
Well, you better find out who did this. I'm not leaving Rhode Island until you do. There must be some clue in this old mansion revealing what happened. I want answers.
So do I. I wish I had some.
So yeah, it is a murder mystery. Shocked by her grandfather's mysterious death and frustrated at the incompetence of the local police, Alex vows to uncover the truth. She decides to search the mansion, the place where Edward conducted his research. If there was a tie to his past and possibly a tie to his murder, it would be here. Right, so gonna get a mansion to roam around in. It is a little dark. There are a beautiful carriage clock. The hands appear to be stuck, yet the clock continues to tick with the time permanently set to 3:33. There is a key in the back of the clock, presumably for winding it. Should Alex look at the key? Yes. Yes, it is the dresser key. So it is very much like a Resident Evil type game. You've got puzzles and things to explore. It is an adventure game. But I would say that the combat is a lot better in this game. Way more than Resident Evil. It looks, like I said, it looks tank control-y, but it honestly isn't that bad. Though, you know, to be honest, the equip check LR. Okay, so I need to... Can we go to options, display, brightness adjustment? We're gonna... It may look a little off, and if it is, I'm sorry. Ooh. I can change it to 16:9. I don't know if that will screw with my recording. I don't know what the hell it's doing. I'll just leave it to standard. I honestly can't really see. Yes, save and continue, memory card. Right. So again, it is very much a... I might have to brighten it up a little bit more in post as well. So forgive me if it is a little dark. But this game, oh my god, this game was the very first... I played Resident Evil when I was a little bit younger, but I didn't quite understand really what was going on. Ooh, a sword and a symbol. A wooden plaque is fastened to the door, taking the place of the lock. A colored sigil is carved into the wood above the wide slot. The slot is just wide enough to insert a narrow blade. Puzzles abound in this area. Secrets, hidden meanings, messages. But there is a couple of different things in this game that set it apart from, say, Resident Evil. I also don't remember where I'm going, so I'm just aimlessly looking around. But there are a couple of things that set it apart from Resident Evil. One of them is the sanity effects. So when you're fighting, or if you're going out and about exploring, you can do sanity effects, and these things this does various things to your vision, your body, and it really messes with you. Right, sorry. It really messes with you, and it's really freaky. And I've wanted to actually do a let's play of this game. I don't know, honestly, I don't know what stops me from doing let's plays. Various different things and details and aspects and times in my life, and you know, I never want to say that I won't ever let's play a game. But I really have to be in specific moods, especially to record. And for those of you who don't make content or record stuff, having creative freedom is a blessing, and sometimes it is a curse, unfortunately. Details. This looming grandfather clock seems to stand ominously in the corner, gazing in this empty room with an almost patriarchal air. Use the stick to adjust the clock hands. So we're going to go for 3:33, if I remember correctly. It's kind of a given, right? So wait, no, this is... Alright, so this is 3:33. Bah! Yes, lots of secrets. That first one was a little bit a given. Right, so if you have creative freedom, you know, you have the freedom to do what you want. But sometimes that kind of gets in your way. Either you have too much on your plate, or you're thinking about too much. And then, of course, real life does get in the way. You know, that is a serious thing. And I'll use my Steam library as an example. I have a lot of games. So many games, in fact, that a lot of times I don't know what to play just because I have so damn many. And I have so many that I get thrown off and I don't know what to pick. I don't know what to play. I love RPGs. I love roguelike games. And I love all of these different aspects of video games. And I know what I like. I love, visual novels and JRPGs and Japanese produced games. And I have so many between consoles and Steam that sometimes I just kind of get confused and I don't really know what to play. With the limited aspect, you're kind of not really necessarily forced to play something, but if you want to play a game, you have less options, so to speak. So it's really kind of hard to parse all that information, and then in return, it kind of makes it hard to do Let's Plays because you don't know what to play. Therefore, you really don't know what to record. But let's go ahead and read this book. So this game, like I said, has the sanity effects, which I hope to show off a little bit. But it also has another aspect to the game.
I had no knowledge of what was to come, nor did I care. How the knowledge changed me, it will also change you. As you read this, you will come to learn fear as I have. You too will come to understand, or you will perish. To think that once I could not see beyond the veil of our reality. To see those who dwell behind. My life now has purpose, for I have learned the frailty of flesh and bone.
Ancient Persia,
I was
26
once
BC.
a fool.
So it has the sanity effect, but it also has this awesome time travel
Viris
element.
quies candamest, viris conservandae. Facusatis aquae sumat, et animus eorum conferma. Pugna huis, dia sit modo prima multarum, si inceptum conficiamus.
Quam primum, Centurio Augustus. I would like to compliment you once more on your battle tactics. Our enemies did not have a chance. Do you believe that it really exists, Centurion?
I do not doubt our Emperor's beliefs, or his orders. But if we are to retrieve the artifact, then we must be strong and patient.
For the time, the 3D models and the textures and the graphics are actually pretty decent. Now, obviously, this game could use some touching up. But holy crap, this game did more. It told a story, a really woven story. So spoiler alert, I mean, this isn't the only... this isn't the only story you kind of go back to. And you're not really time traveling per se, because Alex isn't time traveling. She is reading a story more or less. But it unlocks things for her and the mansion. And see if you can see the sigils at there. It unlocks things for her and the mansion. And it's... I don't want to say it's non-linear, or linear. It's kind of a mix. There are linear segments, and I believe the mansion is slightly unlinear. But the cool thing is that it eventually all ties in. It's not just a bunch of random stories woven together. I mean, it kind of is, but it's kind of not at the same time. And I think, even when I was a kid, I couldn't quite understand the segmented story, but as I played it, I appreciated it. And then as I grew up and I remembered this game fondly, I mind you, then I really started to kind of understand and appreciate this game. I don't know. There's something about this game that is wildly appealing to me. And it's not necessarily the horror aspects, because I'm not a big horror buff. However, the polish, the battling. Alright, so there I'm holding the right trigger on the GameCube controller, and I'm selecting body parts to slice. So if I slice their head, suddenly they can't see me to attack. And if I slice off their arms, suddenly they don't have arms to attack me with. Health gauge, once it reaches 0, you will die. Right, so now they got no arms, so they're just like flail, flail, flail. But we get to finish them when they glow on the ground. And then they go ahead and disappear. Do the other ones wake up? I thought they did. Guess not. But yeah, if you can kind of see the appeal of the game in this limited aspect, it's just a very fun game. I'm also not like a puzzle gamer. I don't particularly care for puzzles, but I think that this game does it very well. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I think this game does it well enough, and it's woven really well that you don't really feel like you're puzzle solving in a way. It just feels like you're playing a game. Whereas if I play something like Portal, for example, Portal or Portal 2. Portal 2 does this better than Portal 1 in my opinion, but in Portal 1 it feels like you're just doing a bunch of puzzles. And granted that it is a puzzle game, but I like story to encapsulate certain aspects of a game. If you're puzzle solving, at least give me reasons to puzzle solve. And yes, granted, damn it, I gotta stop doing that. It had a story. I'm not gonna say that it didn't, but I think Portal 2 did a way better job in the story department. The story in Portal 2 made me care more why I was doing the puzzles versus the first one was just escape because evil robot. The second one took the story of the first and then kind of made it more, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I kind of really don't like the Portal games too much. I like 2 better than 1. They're not my favorite games to play. I'm just not a puzzle gamer. This one, however, you know, weaves the battling mechanics, the mystery aspects, and you're not tied down to one character. You play several. I think that's kind of an obvious statement. The battling isn't all melee, as you saw earlier. There is a, there are guns. I believe there are bows. There are several different aspects to this game, and it doesn't take control like a Resident Evil game, nor is it as hard as a Resident Evil game. I will say that it is honestly not too terribly difficult. That said, it's still just fun, and that I don't believe that can be understated. Because honestly, there are not many fun games that. I'm trying to parse my words in my head a little bit because no, I take that back. There are fun games. There can be a game that is just fine. A lot of arcade games, little story, just fun. Some aspects of Resident Evil to a lot of people are not is not fun. They don't think of it as fun. The tank controls take them out, or the voice acting takes them out. Something takes somebody out of some experience, and they don't like it. It kind of ruins it for them. This, however, I believe it blends it fairly well. The voice acting is pretty good. The controls, I don't want to say are perfect. I don't want to say any aspect of this game is perfect. So don't misquote me there. There are imperfect aspects to this game. However, the aspects that it does have are really fun, and it blends them together really well. This game, I believe, has been getting more expensive in previous years. It is more of a cult following, and it didn't have a huge run. It honestly did not sell very well, and it does have a spiritual successor, one of which I can't tell you because I forgot the name of it. But even I believe it was Silicon Nuts or another company wanted to actually take up this game and do a proper sequel to it, like an actual sequel to this game. We only have the spiritual successor of sorts, which I'll have to put up on screen. Pressing R will enable Pius to select which target to attack. Yes, I know this part. I'll have to put up on screen what the game is that's the spiritual successor to this. I believe it is done by Silicon Knight, and I don't believe it is White Knight Chronicles, but I could be mistaken. It's a game that you would expect to be a spiritual successor to something like this, but it is. Or maybe I'm thinking of another game. Could also be thinking of another game. Either way, it'll be up on screen about now. I don't remember the name, but I kind of vaguely remember that game in my head, and I would honestly say check out both of them. They don't have anything to do with each other, story-wise, but again, I love the way that this game blends all of its aspects together. It's a storyteller, it's an adventure game, it's an action game, it's a mystery. I cannot understate this game enough. Now, all the games on my list I like, but not all the games on my list I like a lot. So now we're going to examine all three of these. A strange sculpture resembling a red-clawed worm mysteriously floats above the pedestal. Should Pius claim this artifact? No. An effigy resembling a warped angel shaped from dark green emerald hovers effortlessly above the pedestal. Should Pius claim this artifact? No. Shaped like a delicate dome, a pale blue statuette floats gracefully above the pedestal. Should Pius take this artifact? No. So you can only take one, and it does shape the way you play the game a little bit. It does change up aspects. Normally I pick the blue. I'm going to go ahead and pick the green right now and show that off. It does change things up a little bit. And like I said, the stories are woven together, I think, very well. There are probably some plot holes. And now Pius is being taken over. Very mystical, too. I think somebody should make a movie out of this, personally. But you know. Very quick segment. Some of the segments for some of the people.
Since then, and I have learned much. I was once as naive as a child, but now my mind is sharp. With the power of Xalatath, I can now read the thoughts of others and make them raving mad with a mere suggestion. Face me, and you shall surely perish.
Acquired the Tomb of Eternal Darkness. So yeah, some of the chapters are long, some of them are short. This one was relatively short. Strangely, with the Tomb of Eternal Darkness in her possession, Alex can read the page. It is a chapter page from the tomb itself. So yes, you're going around, you're getting pages to the book. You're exploring the area, and you're trying to figure out why your grandfather has passed away and what his mansion holds in store for you. And I honestly cannot underestimate or undersell this game to you. This was at the very beginning, the early stages of the N60, or not the N64, the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 era. They hadn't really started to do cinematic or heavy storytelling games. They, kind of started to do it in the PS1 and 64 era to some effect. And obviously RPGs have always been storytelling games, but take out the RPG elements and you mostly had arcade games or action games or adventure games. And I believe there were, point and click adventures, mostly on PC, some poorly ported to consoles. So I'm not saying that there never were story-driven games, but action games like this, mystery games like this, games that told a really engaging story with a lot of differing aspects, not just point and click adventure or, not just graphic novel, visual novel type games, were not heavily prevalent. And if some did exist, but some were not that great. Take Resident Evil 1, for example. Very rough game, right? Dino Crisis, very rough game. They told a story. They had some action. They had some puzzle solving, but the controls were horrendous. The graphics were not that great. It was the PS1 and 64. Well, N64 for Resident Evil. PS1 only for Dragon Crisis, Dino Crisis, and the combat was almost ferocious. It was atrocious, I should say. So this game, I cannot understate it. If you can get a hold of it, I would highly play this. My top 5 and 6 games on my list are a must play for any person who loves video games. I cannot state that enough. But remember, guys, this is episode 21 of a planned 26. We are nearing the end. We are finally in the top 5. These are my top 5 Nintendo games. Dare I say top 5 games, period? Except for Fallout. Fallout actually has to eke its way into my top 5 overall games. And then the Tales RPG series is in my top 5. My top 5 honestly changes. My top 10 of all-time games easily includes my top 5 Nintendo games. This one would probably be 4th or 5th, even in an all-time list. So that just goes to show that I really love this game. Out of all games, this one is still above the rest. If you guys liked this episode, please consider subscribing, consider thumbsing it up, and consider sending it to your friends. I would greatly appreciate it, and it would help me out a lot. Right. It would help me out a lot. Yeah, I took the blue one in that playthrough. You can kind of see. So yeah, 2000 AD. Wow, really? I didn't realize that it took place in 2000. But anyways, guys, yes. Subscribe for the rest of the series if you want to keep watching the series, if you've liked it. If you've not seen the previous episodes, go back and watch them. Why not? I have literally 20 other episodes of this series. If you liked this, I already went over this, didn't I? I bumbled over my words. Remember, guys, play more games, and I will see you next time. Have a good day.